Hello and welcome to Crypto Bible. My name's Oliver Tompkins, and in today's episode, it's an Oliver and Elliott's market update. We go through a number of things, but before we get into it and speak to Elliott, go ahead, throw me an early like, get yourself subscribed to the channel, and turn on your notification bell icon, so you never miss any of these cool updates. And we're also running a competition, so check that out below where you could win £300 worth of sheep. So check the show notes on all of that stuff. Right, let's get Elliott in and see what's going on. Here he is. Elliott, how are you?
Not bad. Feeling very green today.
Yeah, I know. I like that you've changed your backdrop for me. Yeah, I know someone will be happy for that. Right, market update then. It's going a bit sideways at the moment, isn't it? Like consolidation phase. What are you seeing?
So it's gone for that point where, it's been quite choppy recently as Bitcoin, the last few kind of months, should we say, very uncertain. And the main thing that I understand now is that we are kind of, you could say consolidating. I never really say that word because the market always has a direction as such.
So, sorry, Elliott, just to break you there, anyone new that doesn't know what consolidation as a word means, what would you say to them?
In short, what consolidation is the market moving sideways. So it's kind of moving within a range as such. Okay. Now, I always steer away from the word consolidation, and that is just kind of something that people say when they don't know the overall direction of where things are going. And the reason why I say this is because the people who control this market, the people who have the money to move the market, they've always got a direction for the market and a desired move as such. So it's got a desired top point, desired top bottom point for what we call accumulation and distribution. So accumulation and distribution is essentially a hedge fund word where at the point of where people are accumulating funds at a desired point. So let's say, for example, the accumulation zone by whales for Bitcoin is $10,000, right?
Yeah.
You're going to go to $10,000 as desired direction, and they're going to accumulate because these whales, what they've got is they're in a position where they can't buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin because they'll shoot the price up, and they'll essentially their orders will get filled the whole way up. So they end up buying Bitcoin at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way up. Whereas what they do is they accumulate buying in what we call tranches, which are little amounts over a period of time. And what they have is that's accumulation target. So right now you could say, because we're moving in a range, one would say that we could be in an accumulation phase if we're going to move upwards in terms of the market. Okay. But also we could be moving sideways for a further move lower. Now, what I mean, the reason why I'm saying this is because we've essentially got an accumulation phase and we've also got a distribution phase. And what a distribution phase is where the accumulators of the market that move the market have a target of which they look to distribute and sell onto the market, which is the target at the top. Now, what we've got is at the position when people say consolidation, they don't know the overall direction of where things are going. Are we in an accumulation phase right now? I'll be honest, I actually don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. We'll be able to tell if the market shows, if it shows intent to get over 50K, it will prove that this region is an accumulation zone, right? But yeah, we're moving within a range right now instead of, people say accumulation, but I'd say range.
Yeah, right. I got you. So
not accumulation, consolidation, sorry.
That's what, yeah. So have we got a bit of a screen, what's the word? Action. We can look at a chart and then.
Let's do it. Can you see my screen?
Let me get it on. Add to stream. There we go. Yeah, I can see it. Not coming in clear.
Cool. So again, as always, my chats are always a little bit unclean as such. Really, just to break down what this looks like. So I'm going to go over two things today. I'm going to go over this pattern that we've got here. Potentially could be a pattern. Now we've shown intent to go out a couple of times. We're actually showing third intent at the moment. I'm going to put this trend line in here. See this?
Right.
So that there's been 3 times when we've hit this region. This is the 3rd time. Now, also what you can see is we've got something potentially. Now, this here, this is a bit tongue-in-cheek because, we've shown intent to move out of this region many times now. Now, what I would say this bit here, it could be, is what we call an ascending triangle, right? Now, what an ascending triangle does is the price essentially moves within this region. It might pop out a few times as a bit of a fake out, might pop up, but eventually what happens is it has a desired point where it breaks out, right? You see that?
Got you, yeah.
So we've been moving in and around this region it broke out there. Now that's quite a large breakout, which was completely engulfed the next day. But we've been moving in and around this region for quite some time now, right? And we finally seem to have tried to break out for a 3rd time. Now, what I'm looking for at this point is you can see that this ascending triangle just here,
Yeah,
is essentially in a point where we've broken out, and if we can break past this region just here, this will give me a lot of clarity that this move will then, which I'm talking about in a moment, will then take place. Okay, so what I mean by that is we've essentially, when we're measuring a target from an ascending triangle, you're measuring from the width of essentially this move, right? And you take that there like that, right? See that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What we're going to do here is, and you'll see I've already got it as a long target, got it mapped out. But what you're going to see just here is if I drag from the top here to the bottom here, and again, there's going to be a lot of people that may disagree in terms of this because it actually might not, to an extent, be an ascending triangle. But this is just what I'm seeing with regards to this move. That would tell us that Bitcoin's next move would be to $43,000. But equally, if we broke to the downside of that, the likelihood is we're going to see Bitcoin at $33,000. Now, at this moment in time, we've shown an intent with regards to the price. So I get rid of this, and get rid of this. We've shown an intent now for a third time to break out of this level of resistance as a whole. So if I just mark this out here as a region, we've shown an intent to break out here. So what we need to see with regards to BTC's price is we need to see it breaking and staying above this region. We need the second candle to actually close above this 40k region. And then for me, we will definitely be on for a push for Bitcoin up to around about $44,000 as a minimum. And then laterly at $50,000, as we've kind of mentioned previously, which are our longer term targets, just upwards to here. So if I do this, that's the next move with regards to me at this moment in time. Now, this can all change over the next kind of 24 hours if we see Bitcoin coming back within this region just here. See this here?
Yeah, I can see that. So when they meet, that's like, yeah.
So we could potentially see Bitcoin pushed down to within this region and be essentially range bound again until we see it move in its desired direction. But as of right now, we've shown intent to break above that. Okay, and if I also go on to the weekly time frame, you'll see that we're kind of in this point here where we've just crossed this yellow line and we've just crossed this this purple line here, which is on the RSI.
Yeah.
And you see the last time that happened here, we got a large influx in the Bitcoin's price. Okay, so if that could happen again, that would intend that we see Bitcoin rally to the upside. And not to mention that we've also, again, as we've mentioned in previous weeks, broken that weekly structure as a whole. So as of right now, if I just make this somewhat visible again, you can see that we're continuously, we made a low here, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, potential higher low once again. Even if we come down this 38k region, it's not that bad in that respect.
So how do you start, Elliot? How do you know how far back to go? Because is it because you've done like 3 back higher lows? Is that where you start the ascending triangle? Like, how far back is it?
So you want to do it from the width of when the level of resistance started. So you see here, we've got resistance, 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 higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So that would then show that these key areas are forming somewhat of of a pattern. As much as we've had fallout here, fallout here, fallout here, this would be arguable in saying that we've broken out of the ascending triangle there, which I completely understand why someone would argue with that. But equally, we've got to look at, actually, the price is, it's had a free push out followed by a free regulation in that respect, regulation of the price. And it's now respecting these regions once again. So I would also argue that we're still within this region here, moving.
Yeah.
So the main thing is that looking at Bitcoin at this moment in time, we need to break above this level here that's kind of continuously pushing the price down each time we try and break out to break back above this 41k region. If we can do that, the next target will be 44k followed by 50k, which would be followed by 47k followed by 50k in that respect there.
Right.
So that's really at this moment in time. You could also say, looking at the price of Bitcoin here, if I just make this red, you could also say that looking at the price of Bitcoin right now, we've got somewhat of what we call a symmetrical triangle just here.
Okay.
What that would indicate, and again, this is where people get confused because you've got loads of different things telling you loads of different confluencing unconfluencing factors that are kind of not essentially they're not aligned, so things give you different outcomes. And what that would be, ascending triangle, a symmetrical triangle, should we say, in this respect, you would measure the point of breakout. So say for example, we've got the symmetrical triangle starting here. So we've got the descending, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. You would essentially take the width of this and you would put it from the point of breakout on either direction.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
I should get rid of that. So if I would do that, then this would then tell us targets to the upside and also to the downside. Your upside target would perfectly match out at 47 there. See that? And this downside would perfectly match out at this 30k region. So we've also got to bear in mind, if we lose this support here, that's holding the price up, the next target will be 30k, yeah? But at this point, because we've shown an intent to break out of the ascending triangle, if we break to the upside of this, because we've shown that intent, the likelihood is we're definitely going to hit 44 and 47k in that respect.
How much time do you give it before you say, right, it's out of support then? Because is it soon, how do you call that?
For me, I always wait till the weekly closure. I always wait till the weekly closure in the fact that, because what you'll notice is a few times, so say for example here, we got a weekly closure here outside of this candle, and the next candle here was just a really bad week in that respect. So I would wait essentially for this candle here to close above this kind of 41k region to give me clarity that we've got enough intent to move forward.
Right. Okay.
But I would say equally, looking at that, we need to see, and I get, as I'm flying through the time frames, it starts to look a little bit ugly and there's a lot of stuff going on. We would also see that there's, probably if we are going to continue moving within this range from a symmetrical standpoint, triangle standpoint, we've got 4 or 5 days before we hit, probably the point of decision in that respect of breaking out or breaking to the downside of this region.
Okay.
So that's what I would say. I'd probably give this a week just to see how it plays out, and we'll have a better picture in that respect next week.
Yeah, at the moment I'm seeing loads of kind of like positive news stories for Bitcoin. I read a few articles like Elon Musk saying he's never selling his Bitcoin. Steve Wozniak coming out and saying he predicts Bitcoin's going to be 100k. You get a lot of people saying 100k, so it seems to be. I don't know if there's people. We spoke about like manipulation before, whether they're trying to get out to the media about being pro Bitcoin at the moment kind of. So it'd be interesting to see what happens next week, because I'm seeing a lot of positive like media articles at the moment on Bitcoin.
There is absolutely a lot of things coming out which are essentially pro Bitcoin as a whole, which is pretty good. I'm just going to try something. Let's have a look. Because I was reading some analysis the other day that basically shows and this is not by any means the stretch drawn properly, but I'm just trying to look at this as a whole. It's just showing the growth of the asset making these higher lows over time. Now, if essentially if we're going to hold this region here like we did previously at this higher low here, that would then mean that the likelihood of us going like this, if I just do a curve path, is very possible in that respect.
Right. So what time frame is this over, Elliott? Is
this would be over a matter of months, i.e. like the back. I'll probably say
this is a monthly time frame. Okay.
Yeah. So this would be the third quarter this year, and that's if we can hold support around this region. The next desired target for Bitcoin long term. I'm giving the shorter term stuff there, right? So the next desired target would be around about this region here. Now, I'm also going to show you something quite interesting in terms of targets, because when it comes to any forecasts, giving yourself pure clarity around things, essentially what that does is you're using confluence to give yourself pure clarity. And what I mean by confluence is things add up. Okay. Now, what I'll show you here is something on the monthly time frame that's going to give us clarity around the target we've just given of Bitcoin hitting 73k as a whole. Right now, if I get my Fibonacci up from the point of this move here to the point to the top, as we talked about last week, you show from the start of the move to the top.
Yeah.
and then I just go like this and add in the extension targets, which we can get onto in more weeks about how this looks. If I get rid of that and I add in where we at? You can see that looking at this move here, so you've got an upwards to the low here. We actually made a higher low here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to continue this sequence. And basically at this point, you've got a move from the low to the top here with a 78.6 touch of this whole move. That would then provide us, if we were going to see a move from the 78.6, it would actually tell us that we're probably going to see Bitcoin at 79K, right? If we can hold this region here. Yeah.
Right.
If we can hold this region here in this respect. But a more conservative target with regards to what we've moved previously would tell us that Bitcoin could go to, easily that 73K. And then, even if we do break above that, the next target would be that 95K and laterly the 100K region, which is inevitable. It will happen. But it's just a matter of timelines about when this does happen.
Yeah.
But that's more of a longer term view, and that's more me stacking up the different technical factors that we use to get an idea.
So do you think, when you said obviously inevitable 100K at top, do you see that happening at the end of this year, or do you think it will be towards the beginning of next year?
Very, very broad question, I would say. I always like to think of it real. Like we've got to think about the fact that Bitcoin, if we lose this region here, Bitcoin, we could very, very easily see Bitcoin at 10K. Very easily.
Wow. We'd be on that then,
that
Elliot, wouldn't we? Me and you'd be on that if it went to 10K.
Absolutely. And you know what? There's a lot of technical factors that people miss when they're looking at, they get very, very excited about Bitcoin. There's a lot of technical factors that they miss about the fact that we've got CME gaps at $9,000 that have a massive probability of being revisited in previous. And if you look at the highs and lows, you've got an 86% drop previously. I can't go back any further on this chart, but in 2013, I believe we had an 80% drop. Really and truly from the all-time highs, if we get that drop that we're looking for, let's say it's going to be a smaller drop, right, because of the supply and demand of the asset. But let's say an 85% drop, 10K isn't that far away if we see that happening, right? Now, I'm not to scare people, but it can. This is not used as a region a way to scare people. What it is used as is a way to give people clarity that if we do go there, it's part of the roadmap. It's not crypto. You'll see all 10K. You would see all of the things saying, "But crypto is dead." It is part of the roadmap if that happens, because we've seen it happen prehistorically time and time again. But equally, we need to be aware that we could see Bitcoin easily at 73K. And that's not me calling both sides of the market. It's me being real about what you should do in certain predicaments.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a very visual one. Awesome. Yeah, no, interesting stuff. As always, Elliot, we're learning. I'm learning. The audience is learning. Okay, cool. Let's talk about coins then. It's been a bit sort of quiet a little bit. Obviously, the war going on in Ukraine and Russia at the moment, it seems a bit, it just seems a bit dead. So what have you been looking at? Anything interesting to tell us?
To be honest, from my side of things, I've been looking very, very similarly. I'm not, again, I think I mentioned this previously, my research team don't just add new projects every other week.
Sure.
We look at a certain minute few and identify good entry points for them. Now, for me, one that's gone severely undervalued recently for me is Theta. That's at $2. It's been at $11 before. And they're backed by some very, very large people within this market. So Theta is one that we're looking at. Phantom, once again, that over the last 24 hours, Phantom has increased by 14.8%, which has fully diluted the 9% losses over the last 7 days. So Phantom's definitely one that's showing intent to regain back some of its losses, which is good. Again, Luna's at the similar point to where we were previously. Solana, I would expect Solana over the next couple of months will increase. And the reason why I say that is because OpenSea will be implementing Solana NFTs, which were primarily the driver behind the Solana growth previously, other than the good tech. We looked at Polkadot last week, that being, I believe anyway, that being an opportunity. That's gone from $15 to $18. It's about 7% increase over the week. Not massive, but still in a relatively sideways moving market right now is moving. I think, Ollie, that's everything at this moment in time. I think other opportunities that we're looking at is One Harmony as an alternative chain.
I remember you saying about Harmony before. What was it about you liked about Harmony, for anyone that hasn't ever heard of it before?
Yeah, so for me, Harmony, so we look at alternative chains in that respect. So what I mean by that is we're looking at things that are taking Ethereum's kind of overall dominance of the market and altcoins, and in a layer one solution, either scaling it or speeding it up. And the thing we like about One Harmony is essentially the speed and scalability of the actual kind of let's say platform in itself, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I like that is because it solves a lot of issues with regards to the Ethereum scalability and speed. So for us, it's just an alternative way that you should have exposure within your portfolio of a certain asset, like One Harmony, because it's a very, very small in terms of its market cap. It's ranked 73.
Yeah,
it's got all the attributes to be a very, very strong chain in that respect. And also from a total supply standpoint, there's 13 million. 13 million in is it 13 billion? Yeah, 13 billion. Sorry, in circulation, and there's 11 billion in circulation, and the total supply is 13 billion. So we're pretty much like 90-ish% out, all in circulation. So as the demand for that increases, the supply staying the same relatively, we should see that in terms of its growth.
And does that work? That works off the back of Ethereum, right?
Yeah, it can work. It can partner with, or it can be alternative. So for me, the main thing is it can be a bridge between the Ethereum proof of stake protocol, but it has that interoperable way of working.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one that's scalable, secure, and decentralized as in its truest form as such.
And is that similar to like Polygon then? Is that like something that works off?
So Polygon as a whole is a scaling solution for Ethereum, right? There are NFTs that have been used through scaling solutions within Polygon to get rid of the gas fees. I would say Harmony more stands on its own as such, in the fact that it is its own kind of separate entity that can work on a bridge solution with Ethereum.
Awesome.
But yeah, there's a lot more research that goes into understanding Harmony. But I'd just say definitely look at Harmony as a whole.
Okay, no, wicked. That's some good points there. I think we're on the final bit. Are there any other business? Any other? Is that what people say? Any other type of business? I think they say that at the end of like minutes in the meeting. Any other business?
No, I think we're good, Ollie. I think
we've covered it, mate. We're done. We're just on the 23 minutes. All right. Well, thank you ever so much for the market update. As always, hopefully the technical analysis definitely helps me more every week, and hopefully the viewers as well learn more and more they watch. So thanks for that. Thanks for your time, and for the chatting about the coin watch and coins that are looking good or what you're looking at. So very much appreciate your time, and I'll catch up with you again next week, buddy.
Speak soon. Thanks a lot, Ollie.
Cheers, buddy. Catch you later, Elliott. So there you go, guys. Another Oliver and Elliott's market update. Very cool stuff. The TA hopefully starting to make a little bit more sense now, with Elliott kind of telling us what's happening so we can understand. Telling us a little bit about the coin watch again, what he's looking at. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the market next week, and we can catch up with Elliott and have a chat with him then. As always, throw me a like if you liked the episode, which I'm hoping you did. Get subscribed to Crypto Bible and turn on your notification bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming episodes. And we've got that competition running right now. If you want to win £300 worth of sheep, get yourself in the show notes and find out how. As always, thanks for joining me for today's episode. I'll see you on the next one.